What's the coolest thing about Webkins?
So many pets to choose from.
We'll save Wizard City.
This may be the one.
And it's really nice out, so I think I'm gonna go swimming later. My mom found this.
Well, I could type 75 words per minute.
Shut up!
From iconic Gen Z games like Club Penguin, Toontown, Webkins, to nostalgic movie and TV tie-in websites like Nicktropolis, the Disney Channel website, and Pottermore, to just purely iconic internet eras like the golden ages of YouTube, Vine, and Tumblr. Today we'll be going over the ultimate Gen Z internet nostalgia iceberg. Like many of you who are also Gen Z and look back at the early 2000s fondly, I'm super stoked for this video and to bring back all those early internet nostalgia feels. So without further ado, let's jump straight in with tier 1. Club Penguin. Club Penguin was more than just a game. It was a cultural phenomenon. Players could waddle around as colorful penguins, decorate their igloos, adopt puffles, and play endlessly addictive minigames. However, one of its most infamous legacies was the ease of getting banned. Whether it was for saying something mildly inappropriate or just for fun, the game's ban system became a meme in and of itself. The game was also known for its secret agent missions, the beloved card jitsu minigame, and the joy of throwing snowballs at unsuspecting players. Disney eventually shut down the game in 2017, but private servers and fan revivals keep the memory alive, proving just how impactful it was on an entire generation. The nostalgia for Club Penguin remains strong, with many still reminiscing about the game's peak era. Vine. Vine was the birthplace of Gen Z humor, shaping internet comedy with its 6-second video format. Its limitations forced creators to be quick, absurd, and innovative, resulting in legendary memes and quotes still referenced today. Vine also gave rise to internet celebrities who later transitioned to YouTube and mainstream entertainment. The app fostered a sense of creativity that felt raw and unfiltered, making it distinct from later platforms. Though the app was discontinued in 2017, its legacy lives on through compilations and TikTok, its spiritual successor, which carries on the chaotic energy and rapid-fire humor Vine introduced to the world. Many still argue that Vine had a level of comedic brilliance unmatched by its successors, proving its enduring influence on internet culture. Cool math games. Every school computer lab's best friend, Cool Math Games was the ultimate loophole for playing games in class. Despite the name, it had little to do with math and everything to do with game classics like Run, Fireboy and Water Girl, and Papa's Pizzeria. It was a digital sanctuary for students stuck in boring lectures, offering hours of fun under the guise of education. The site's simple, flash-based games had a universal appeal, making it one of the few gaming websites that wasn't blocked by school firewalls. Many of its games became cult classics, standing the test of time despite evolution of online gaming. To this day, Cool Math Games remains online, outlasting even Adobe Flash, and continues to provide nostalgic entertainment to those who return for a hit of their childhood gaming memories. The site's resilience and continued popularity are a testament to its deep-rooted place in Gen Z's collective memory. YouTube's Golden Era. YouTube's golden era of 2006 to 2014 is a period that saw the rise of some of the most legendary content creators and viral videos in internet history. From Smosh's sketch comedy, to Fred's high-pitched antics, to Annoying Orange's bizarre humor, and the unshakable catchiness of the Gummy Bear song dominated YouTube. The rise of Let's Play videos, PewDiePie, Markiplier, the Yogscast created a new genre of entertainment that transformed gaming culture forever. Reaction videos, challenge trends, and early animation channels like Egoraptor also thrived in this era, making YouTube feel like a lawless, experimental playground. It was a time when content was driven by creativity rather than algorithms, making an unforgettable golden age for the internet entertainment. Many of these classic videos are still widely rewatched, with people longing for the era when YouTube felt more personal and less commercialized. This golden period laid the groundwork for modern content creators and influenced internet humor for years to come. Minecraft's 2011 through 2014 era. Before Minecraft became a multi-billion-dollar juggernaut, it was a simpler yet deeply magical experience. This was the golden age of Minecraft YouTubers, from Skydoes Minecraft to Stampy Longnose and the Yogcast's epic story-driven series. Multiplayer servers like Mineplex and Hypixel became virtual playgrounds, and survival mode felt like a limitless world of discovery. For many, this era of Minecraft was pure creativity, with survival servers, adventure maps, and Hunger Games-inspired minigames defining childhood gaming memories. The game's pixelated charm and limitless potential captured the imagination of millions, making it one of the most influential titles of all time. To this day, players still seek out that nostalgic 2011 to 2014 experience, as modern-day Minecraft, while still fun, just doesn't hit the same. The sense of wonder and community from this era remains unmatched in gaming history. Neopets. For kids growing up in the early 2000s, Neopets was a staple of online life. The site allowed players to adopt and care for virtual pets, play flash games to earn Neo points, and even engage in an economy that, in retrospect, was shockingly complex. It had everything: trading, customization, lore, and even a stock market. The community forums were filled with passionate users, and the site's random events kept players engaged. Neopets was more than just a game. It was a lifestyle for many, with some users spending hours optimizing their Neopian wealth. While the site still exists, much of the magic has faded with the decline of Flash, leaving behind a nostalgic relic of a different internet era. Roblox, the pre-2015 era. Before Roblox exploded into mainstream success, it was a niche creative platform with a dedicated community. Back then, the blocky graphics and clunky mechanics were part of its charm. Players could explore fan-favorite games like Work at a Pizza Place, Natural Disaster Survival, and Sword Fight on the Heights. The creativity of early Roblox was unmatched, with dedicated developers crafting unique experiences using the platform's rudimentary tools. It wasn't about influencers or monetization, it was about raw creativity and discovering weird, fun, user-generated experience. The platform's shift towards a more commercialized model in later years changed the landscape, but early Roblox remains a cherished memory for those who grew up with it. The DIY spirit of early Roblox players fostered a sense of boundless imagination, making it an unforgettable part of Gen Z gaming history. Poptropica. This browser-based adventure game was an unforgettable part of many childhoods. Created by Jeff Kinney, the author of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series, Poptropica featured a vast world of islands, each with its own storyline, puzzles, and mysteries. From escaping a prison in Superpower Island to uncovering secrets in Spy Island, every quest felt like an epic adventure. The hand-drawn aesthetic, simple controls, and clever narratives made the game stand out among other browser-based experiences. Many players were drawn to the challenge of completing every island, feeling a great sense of accomplishment when they did. Even though the game has evolved, the early era of Poptropica remains an iconic, defining memory for those who grew up with it, with many fans still revisiting what's left for a dose of nostalgia. Moving on to Tier 2. Wizard 101. Wizard 101 was the dream game for kids who wanted to feel like they were in a magic school. Players could pick a wizard class, cast spells, and explore different magical worlds. The turn-based combat system made battle strategic, and collecting different spell cards was exciting. Many kids spent hours grinding through different areas, teaming up with friends, and battling enemies to level up. The game also had a surprisingly deep story with really cool areas to explore, from castles to spooky dungeons. It was one of those MMOs that I personally played a lot, and it felt huge and full of possibilities. While the game is still around today, its golden era was in the late 2000s and early 2010s. For many, it was their first introduction to online multiplayer fantasy adventures. RuneScape. RuneScape was one of the most popular MMORPGs of its time, known for its freedom and player-driven economy. Whether you were grinding for hours to level up skills, completing quests, or fighting in the wilderness, there was always something to do. Many players have painful memories of getting scammed or losing everything in PvP duels. The graphics were simple, but the game's open-ended nature made it incredibly immersive. Earning gold felt like a real achievement, and trading with other players in the grand exchange was a huge part of the experience. Some of the most nostalgic moments came from random in-game events, like holiday drops and community challenges. Although RuneScape still exists today, the old-school 2007 to 2012 version is the one most people remember fondly. It was a true sandbox MMO that defined online gaming for many kids and teens. Newgrounds. Newgrounds was the Wild West of the internet when it came to flash games, animations, and early internet culture. It was the birthplace of legendary series like Madness Combat, Castle Crashers, and many early meme animations. Unlike other sites, Newgrounds let its creators upload almost anything, leading to some of the weirdest and most creative content online. It was also one of those platforms to give independent animators and game developers a place to share their work. Many of the most famous Flash games and viral videos got their start here before spreading to YouTube and other sites. The edgy humor and unfiltered creativity made it feel like an underground internet club. Even though it still exists, Newgrounds isn't as mainstream as it once was. But for those who grew up on it, it remains one of the most important parts of internet nostalgia. Happy Wheels. Happy Wheels was one of the most chaotic and hilarious games on the internet back in the early 2000s. It was a physics-based obstacle course game where players controlled different characters, like the wheelchair guy, the dad on the bike, the pogo stick guy, and more, through deadly traps. The game became legendary thanks to YouTube, with tons of creators making funny reaction videos as they failed in ridiculous ways. The game's extreme ragdoll physics and over-the-top gore made it both frustrating and hilarious to play. Every level was unpredictable, with spikes, landmines, and wrecking balls ready to destroy your character at any moment. Players could also create and share custom levels, leading to some of the most creative and absurd gaming experiences ever. For those who remember this golden era, it was one of the funniest games ever. Omegle. Omegle was an anonymous chat site where you could randomly talk to strangers online. Before it became infamous for weird and creepy encounters, it was actually a fun way to meet new people. Many users spent hours chatting with strangers, playing games, or even making internet friends. It was especially popular for YouTuber Omegle pranks, where creators like PewDiePie and Smosh would interact with fans in hilarious ways. The thrill of never knowing who you'd talk to next made it addictive, even if you mostly ended up skipping past people. It was one of those sites that felt like an exciting secret part of the internet. With Omegle's recent ban, it became more known for sketchy encounters, which obviously led to a decline in its popularity. But for many, the pre-2015 Omegle era was a unique and fun part of growing up online. The Slenderman craze. The Slenderman craze was one of the biggest internet horror trends of the early 2010s. It all started with the creepypasta about a tall, faceless figure that stalked people in the woods. The legend took off when the game Slender: The 8 Pages was released in 2012. The simple but terrifying gameplay, where you had to collect pages while avoiding Slenderman, became a viral hit. YouTube was flooded with Let's Play videos of people screaming in fear as Slenderman suddenly appeared. The character even inspired movies, fan art, and more horror games. Eventually, the craze faded out as any other horror trend would, but it was a defining moment for internet horror culture. For those who lived through it, the fear of seeing Slenderman still lingers in their memories. The Impossible Quiz. The Impossible Quiz was one of the most frustrating yet addictive online games ever made. It was a trivia game that wasn't actually about knowledge. It was about trick questions, mind games, and pure trial and error. Some of the questions seemed normal at first, but the answers would make no sense at all. Many players got stuck on a single question for hours, only to finally figure it out and fail again a few levels later. The humor and weirdness to the game made it fun, even when it was infuriating. The game became a big hit on YouTube, with people recording their hilarious reactions to its ridiculous difficulty. Even though fewer people talk about it now, it remains a classic in online history. Anyone who played it remembers the frustration and the few moments of victory that made it all feel worth it. Moving on to Tier 3. iFunny. Before Instagram meme pages took over, iFunny was the go-to app for sharing and discovering memes. It had a simple design where users could scroll through a feed of funny images and videos and upvote their favorites and share them with friends. The app was known for its featured section, where only the best memes made it to the top. For a while, it felt like an exclusive club where internet humor thrived. However, as platforms like Reddit, Twitter, and Instagram became more dominant in meme culture, iFunny slowly lost its place. While the app still exists, it's nowhere near as popular as it was in the early 2010s. For those who were active on it back in the day, it remains a nostalgic piece of meme history. Papa's Pizzeria series. The Papa's Pizzeria games were the ultimate food-based flash game franchise. Starting with Papa's Pizzeria, the series expanded to include everything from burgers to sushi, each with its own set of quirky customers and fun mechanics. The games were surprisingly deep, requiring players to juggle different tasks like taking orders, cooking food, and customizing dishes to perfection. Many kids spent hours trying to master the most efficient way to serve customers while also earning in-game rewards. The charm of the series came from its colorful art style and the ridiculous variety of food combinations. When Adobe Flash was discontinued, the games became harder to access, though some were later brought back on new platforms. For many, these games represent a golden age of casual browser flash gaming. Ask.fm. Ask.fm was the anonymous Q&A site that created absolute chaos in middle schools. The platform allowed users to ask each other questions, often leading to funny, dramatic, or downright messy interactions. Since it was anonymous, people felt free to say whatever they wanted, which sometimes resulted in bullying and controversy. Despite this, many users enjoyed the thrill of getting unexpected questions or sending messages to their crushes without revealing their identity. It was like a digital version of passing secret notes in class, but with way more drama. As social media evolved, Ask.fm lost popularity, and many of its features were absorbed by newer apps like Instagram's Q&A stickers. Though it still exists, it's mostly a forgotten relic of early 2010s internet culture. Habbo Hotel. Habbo Hotel was a pixelated virtual world where players could create avatars, design rooms, and chat with others. It had a huge community with players forming friend groups, role-playing, and trading virtual items. The game became infamous for its pools closed raids, where groups of users, often from 4chan, would flood the game and block off access to certain areas. The simple yet charming graphics and endless social possibilities made Habbo Hotel a major online hangout. However, as other virtual worlds like Minecraft and Roblox took over, Habbo's player base shrank. While it's still online today, the glory days are long behind it. For those who spent hours decorating their rooms and making friends, it remains a deeply nostalgic experience. Albino Black Sheep. Albino Black Sheep was a major hub for flash animations and weird internet humor. It was home to some of the most iconic early internet videos, including Badger 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 and the Llama Song. Long before YouTube dominated video content, sites like Albino Black Sheep provided a space for creators to share bizarre and experimental animations. Many of these videos became viral memes before memes were even a concept. The site also hosted flash games, music remixes, and interactive content that kept users entertained for hours. As YouTube and social media became more powerful, Albino Black Sheep slowly faded into obscurity. However, for those who grew up on its content, it remains a nostalgic reminder of a more chaotic and creative internet era. Go Animate, or Vyond. Go Animate, now known as Vyond, was another animation site best known for its text-to-speech videos. Users could create simple animations using pre-made characters and voice them using robotic text-to-speech audio. This led to an explosion of meme-worthy content, especially the infamous grounded videos where characters like Caillou or Dora would get punished by their parents. These videos became a genre of their own, filling YouTube with low effort yet hilarious animations. While Go Animate eventually rebranded as Vyond and shifted more towards corporate animations, its early internet meme culture remains iconic. The simplicity and unintentional humor of its animations made it a staple of early YouTube. WeWorld. WeWorld was a social networking site where users could create cartoon avatars and interact with others. It had a mix of chat features, minigames, and profile customization, making it feel like a mix between Club Penguin and MySpace. Many users loved dressing up their WeMe avatars and making friends in chat rooms. While it never reached the popularity of some other virtual worlds, it had a dedicated community that spent hours socializing on the platform. As newer social media platforms took over, WeWorld struggled to stay relevant and eventually shut down. Despite this, those who played it still remember the excitement of customizing their avatars and meeting new people online. FormSpring. FormSpring was another anonymous Q&A platform, similar to Ask.fm, where users could ask and answer questions. It became popular among teenagers as a way to interact with friends and crushes anonymously. However, the site quickly gained a reputation for cyberbullying, as anonymous users can send harsh or inappropriate messages without consequence. Despite the drama, many users still love the thrill of receiving unexpected questions and responding in creative ways. Over time, as social media evolved, FormSpring lost its appeal and eventually shut down. While it's mostly forgotten today, it was once a major part of online social interactions for teens in the early 2010s. Toontown Online. Toontown Online was Disney's wacky MMORPG where players controlled cartoon animals and fought evil robot businessmen known as cogs. The game was unique because instead of using weapons, players used pies, gags, and slapstick humor to defeat enemies. It had a charming and silly atmosphere, making it a fan favorite for kids who loved both Disney and online gaming. The game had tons of customization options, from designing a Toon character to decorating a personal estate. Unfortunately, Disney shut it down in 2013, breaking the hearts of its loyal fans, me included. However, fan-made versions like Toontown Rewritten have kept the game alive, proving just how strong its nostalgia factor is. For those who played it, Toontown remains one of the most beloved online games of its era. Moving on to Tier 4. Nicktropolis, or Nick Club. Nicktropolis was Nickelodeon's attempt at creating a virtual world for kids, letting users make avatars and explore themed locations based on Nick shows. Players could interact in chat rooms, visit environments based on SpongeBob SquarePants, Drake and Josh, and other popular shows, and complete minigames. It felt like a digital theme park for Nickelodeon fans, offering a way to immerse themselves in their favorite shows. The game was rebranded as Nick Club, but it never reached the same level of success. Eventually, it shut down completely, leaving only nostalgic memories for those who once roamed its virtual streets. As technology advanced, newer virtual worlds like Roblox took over, pushing Nicktropolis into obscurity. Still, for those who played it, the memories of chatting in Bikini Bottom or exploring Nick Studios remain special, capturing the golden age of kids' virtual worlds. Bin Weevils. Bin Weevils was a UK-exclusive MMO that played similarly to Club Penguin, allowing players to create and customize bug-like avatars called Weevils. The game was centered around completing activities, decorating your nest, and interacting with other players in a colorful, cartoony world. It was also known for its quirky humor, fun minigames, and strong community aspects. Many players loved competing in the Bin Pet Championship and solving puzzles in the Mulch Quarry. Despite its popularity in the UK, Bin Weevils never reached the same global success as Club Penguin or Habbo Hotel. Over time, the game's user base inevitably dwindled, and it was eventually shut down. While it remains more of a lesser-known MMO, those who played it remember it fondly, exploring its bizarre, bug-themed world and making online friends. Meet Me. Meet Me, originally known as My Yearbook, was a social networking site aimed at teenagers. Unlike Facebook, which focused on connecting with real-life friends, My Yearbook encouraged meeting new people, which led to both fun and risky encounters. Many users enjoyed the ability to chat with strangers, play social games, and interact through status updates. However, it became notorious for sketchy interactions, as some users treated it more like a dating app than a social platform. While it provided an alternative to mainstream social networks, it also attracted criticism for safety concerns. As the social media landscape evolved, Meet Me lost its relevance, and the rise of platforms like Instagram and Snapchat overshadowed it. Today, it exists somehow, but mostly in the background, far removed from the middle school chaos it once caused, and remembered by those who used it during its peak. The Duck Life series. Duck Life was a surprisingly addictive series of flash games where players trained ducks to race in different competitions. The core gameplay involved leveling up a duck's running, swimming, and flying abilities through mini-games, creating a satisfying sense of progression. Players had to balance training with competing in races, making each new installment feel more rewarding than the last. The simplistic yet engaging mechanics kept players coming back, with each sequel introducing new customization options and challenges. Duck Life's charm lay in its straightforward but strategic gameplay, making it an easy pick-up-and-play experience. While the series still exists today on mobile platforms, it has never regained the same level of popularity it had in the Flash era. Tumblr. Tumblr in the early 2010s was one of the most unique and chaotic social media platforms. It was the home of fandom culture, with communities centered around fan fiction, aesthetic blogging, and niche internet humor. The platform's reblogging system allowed content to spread in a way that felt more organic than on other social media sites, creating a tight-knit feel. Tumblr was also where viral posts, deep-cut memes, and internet subcultures thrived, with trends like pastel edits, text-based memes, and cryptic shitposts shaping Gen Z humor. However, a combination of policy changes, the rise of Instagram and Twitter, and a decline in active users led to Tumblr's downfall. Their 2018 ban on adult content alienated many of its most active communities, causing a massive decline in traffic. While the platform still exists, it's a shadow of what it once was. For those who lived through peak Tumblr, the memories of fandom wars, aesthetic mood boards, and bizarre text posts remain unmatched. Disney Channel interactive website. Disney's official website in the 2000s had some of the most nostalgic online experiences for kids. It featured interactive environments based on Disney Channel hit shows, letting users explore and play minigames related to High School Musical, Wizards of Waverly Place, and Hannah Montana. One of the highlights was being able to log in to the Wizards of Waverly Place computer terminal, which felt like stepping into the show itself. These online experiences were a dream for Disney fans, providing an immersive way to engage with their favorite series. Over time, the website phased out many of its interactive features, leaving these games lost to time. For those who played them, they were a magical part of early internet culture. The sense of stepping into a show's world made these experiences unforgettable, and their disappearance left a nostalgic void for many Disney Channel fans. Pets. Pets was a hyper-realistic virtual pet website that attracted a dedicated fan base. Unlike Neopets, which had a more cartoonish and playful style, Pets focused on realistic-looking animals that required daily care, making it feel like a true digital pet simulation. Players had to make sure their pets were fed, exercised, and happy, or else they would become visibly distressed. The site developed an almost obsessive following, with some players forming emotional attachments to their virtual pets. While the concept was engaging, the game's monetization model eventually led to frustration, as certain pets and features were locked behind paywalls. As browser-based pet simulators declined and mobile games took over, Pets faded into obscurity. Though it technically still has a small community, its impact is mostly a memory for those who loved its surprisingly deep pet care mechanics. Fantage. Fantage was a pastel-colored virtual world aimed at younger kids. It combined social interaction, minigames, and character customization, letting players explore different areas, attend parties, and complete quests. The game had a unique art style with big-headed, anime-inspired avatars, which made it stand out from other virtual worlds. It was particularly popular among elementary and middle school kids who wanted a safe, friendly online space to hang out. The game featured seasonal events, exclusive membership perks, and collectible items, which kept players engaged. Unfortunately, Fantage shut down in 2018, marking the end of an era for many of its devoted fans. Even though it's gone, its memory lives on through old gameplay videos and nostalgic discussion online, proving how much it meant to dedicated players. Moving on to Tier 5. Adventure Quest Worlds. Adventure Quest Worlds was an MMORPG that lived in the shadow of RuneScape but had its own loyal fanbase. Unlike its single-player predecessor Adventure Quest Worlds was fully online, allowing players to team up, complete quests, and battle enemies in real time. The game had a unique mix of fantasy and humor, with events often parodying pop culture. The class system was a major highlight, letting players switch between different abilities and combat styles. Though Adventure Quest Worlds is still playable today, it has lost much of its mainstream appeal, surviving mostly through its dedicated community of nostalgia-driven players. McWorld. McWorld was McDonald's attempt at creating an online multiplayer world for kids. Players could create avatars, explore different themed areas, and play a variety of minigames based on McDonald's branding. The game was meant to promote Happy Meal toys and other McDonald's products, while providing a safe virtual space for children. It had colorful, cartoonish art style and simple mechanics, making it easy for younger players to navigate. Some of its minigames were surprisingly fun, offering players a casual way to pass the time. Though it never became as popular as Club Penguin or Habbo Hotel, it was a fun, lighthearted experience for kids who enjoyed online games. Eventually, McWorld was shut down and all traces of it faded away, leaving only scattered memories among those who played it. Today, it exists mostly as a nostalgic relic of corporate-sponsored internet gaming, with only a few screenshots and mentions preserving its legacy. Electro City. Electro City was an energy management simulation game designed to teach kids about sustainability and city planning. Players took control of a town and had to balance power sources, economic growth, and environmental impact. While the game was educational, it was surprisingly engaging, allowing players to experiment with different strategies for building a successful city. The game challenged players to think critically about energy consumption and environmental responsibility while keeping them entertained. Despite its clever design, Electro City eventually disappeared as Flash was discontinued. For those who played it, it remains a surprisingly fun memory from childhood computer labs, blending learning and gaming in a way few educational games manage to achieve. Webkins. Webkins was more than just an online game. It was a childhood obsession for many Gen Zers. Players could adopt plush pets, each of which came with a code to unlock a virtual version in the game. Once inside the Webkins world, players could decorate homes, play arcade minigames, and care for their digital pets. The game was famous for its unique mix of creativity, responsibility, and social interaction. The arcade featured classics like Cash Cow and Goober's Lab, which became favorites for earning in-game currency. Webkins also had a secretive side, with many players hunting for exclusive items and trying to crack the mystery of Gans's eStore exclusives. Though Webkins still exists in a different form today, its golden age was in the late 2000s and early 2010s. For many, logging into Webkins was a magical part of growing up online, making it one of the most memorable virtual pet games of all time. Cartoon Network's interactive website. Cartoon Network's official website in the 2000s was filled with interactive experiences that let fans engage with their favorite shows. Just like Disney's website at the time, the site had a variety of Flash-based minigames, quizzes, and virtual worlds where users could play as characters from Ed, Edd and Eddy, Courage the Cowardly Dog, and Total Drama Island. One of the most memorable experiences was exploring the campground from Total Drama Island, which made players feel like contestants on the show. The website frequently updated with new games and content tied to Cartoon Network's programming, making it a must-visit for kids who loved the network. Many of the games had a surprisingly deep mechanics, keeping players engaged for far longer than expected. Over time, as Flash was phased out, many of these experiences disappeared. For those who grew up on it, though, the Cartoon Network website was a key part of internet nostalgia, providing countless hours of entertainment. Jumpstart Online. Jumpstart was an educational game series that evolved into a full MMORPG. Based on the popular Jumpstart learning games, the online version offered a virtual world where kids could complete quests, play minigames, and interact with other players. Unlike many other MMOs, Jumpstart focused on educational content, incorporating math, reading, and problem-solving challenges into the gameplay. It was designed to be a fun and engaging way for kids to learn while playing in an expansive digital world. Though it never reached the popularity of Club Penguin or Webkinz, it had a loyal audience of kids whose parents preferred an educational alternative. Eventually, as browser-based games declined, Jumpstart Online faded from memory. Still, it remains a nostalgic piece of childhood for those who spent hours exploring its colorful world, making education feel like a game rather than a chore. Mathletics. Mathletics was another online learning platform that many kids were introduced to in school. Unlike traditional math exercises, Mathletics gamified learning by letting students compete in real-time math challenges against players worldwide. It made solving equations feel like an intense competition, turning math into something exciting rather than dull. Many students loved collecting points and earning certificates, while others dreaded when their teachers assigned Mathletics for homework. The global ranking system added an extra layer of motivation, pushing students to improve their scores. While it was meant to be educational, the competitive aspect kept kids coming back. Today, it still exists, but isn't as widely used as it was in its peak era. Doritos Crash Course. Doritos Crash Course was a legendary and unexpectedly fun free-to-play platformer released for Xbox 360, which pretty much served as an advertisement for Doritos. The game played like a side-scrolling obstacle course, challenging players to navigate treacherous jumps, moving platforms, and oversized hammers. Despite being a marketing stunt, the game's tight controls and entertaining design made it a favorite for Xbox Live Arcade players. Competing against friends for the fastest course completion time added an extra layer of fun. The levels became progressively more difficult, requiring precise timing and skill. Many players were surprised at how enjoyable the game actually was, considering that it was pretty much just an ad. While it has largely faded from memory, those who played it remember it as one of the most iconic, best free-to-play games available on Xbox Live. Millsberry. Millsberry was an online virtual world sponsored by General Mills, featuring a charming town where players could create avatars, play minigames, and decorate their homes. The game had an economy where players could earn Mills bucks to buy clothes, furniture, and other items. Unlike many virtual worlds of its time, Millsberry had a relaxed pace, making it a casual, cozy, and stress-free experience. It was heavily advertised on cereal boxes, which helped it gain a dedicated fan base of young players. Many kids enjoyed exploring the town's different areas, which include schools, stores, and recreational spots. The game was eventually shut down in 2010, much to the disappointment of its loyal users. Today, it remains a fond, albeit obscure memory for those who spent hours customizing their characters and engaging in the cozy online world. Pottermore. Pottermore was J.K. Rowling's official Harry Potter website designed to give fans an interactive way to engage with the wizarding world. Players could get sorted into Hogwarts houses, brew potions, cast spells, enact scenes from the original movies, and compete for the House Cup. The site also featured exclusive behind-the-scenes content, including new writings from Rowling herself. At its peak, Pottermore was a must-visit for any Harry Potter fan, offering a mix of storytelling, interactivity, and fandom engagement. However, the site was later restructured, with many of its original features removed. The loss of the interactive elements led to a decline in its popularity. Today, Pottermore exists in a different form, but its original iteration remains a cherished memory for longtime fans who remember the excitement of getting their official Hogwarts house placement.